Have you ever noticed how quickly confidence disappears the moment comparison enters the room? A child who felt capable suddenly doubts themselves. A young person who was curious suddenly feels behind. Not because they changed, but because their focus shifted away from themselves. Welcome to Soul Time, a show that explores the world of unlocking your unique potential. My name is Dr. Katja Makowka and I'm a teacher at school, a former teacher at universities, and a stress and mental coach. And I'm your host. Comparison doesn't just measure performance, it shifts identity. And the moment a child compares themselves, the question quietly changes from what am I learning to how do I rank? That shift is powerful because confidence doesn't grow from ranking. It grows from self-connection. And comparison pulls attention outward, away from inner signals, away from curiosity, and away from personal rhythm. And over time, many children stop asking, what feels right for me? They start asking, am I enough compared to others? That's when confidence begins to erode, quickly, steadily. Children are still forming their sense of self. They don't yet have a stable inner reference point. So when comparison becomes constant, it teaches them something dangerous. My value is relative. Relative to grades, relative to likes, relative to speed, popularity, achievement, success. And the problem is this: there will always be someone ahead and always someone behind. So comparison never brings peace and never ends. It brings pressure or discouragement or disconnection, and often it brings silence. Because when children feel less than, they don't ask questions, they don't try, and they don't risk being seen. Not because they don't care, but because caring suddenly feels too vulnerable. And this is where we as adults matter more than we realize. Because comparison isn't only something children pick up from peers or pick up from social media. They learn it from us, from how we talk about success, from how we evaluate ourselves, from how often we say things like, others are already further. I should be better by now. They are doing it so much better than me. And children absorb our inner dialogue, our sentence, and not only our advice. So when we constantly compare ourselves to others, we teach them that self-worth is conditional. But when we model self-trust, on the other hand, self-acceptance, we offer them a different blueprint. Not be the best, but be connected to yourself. And let's be honest, we all know what comparison feels like. We have all had those moments where we look around and suddenly feel smaller, where confidence quietly tightens in the chest, where motivation turns into pressure, and where we question our pace or our path, our enoughness. And in those moments, we don't just think differently, we feel differently. Comparison can trigger tension and self-doubt and shame, or the urge to push harder and disconnect from ourselves. And here is the important part for us as adults. Children don't just notice that comparison happens. They notice how we handle it. Do we spiral into self-criticism? Do we brush our feelings aside? Do we measure ourselves harshly? Or do we pause, breathe, and return to ourselves? Every time we meet comparison with awareness instead of judgment, we show young people something powerful. That feeling doesn't have to control you. And you can notice it and still trust yourself. And this is not about being perfect or being perfect role models. It's about being honest, regulated, and self-connected. Because when children see us navigate comparison with self-compassion and kindness, they learn how to do the same, long before they have the words for it. Confidence is not built by outperforming others. It's built by trusting your own process, by learning I can listen to myself, or I can grow at my own pace, and I can learn without measuring myself against everyone else. So how do we help young people build that trust? We shift the focus from comparison to connection, from ranking to reflection, from outcome to experience. And we ask different questions. For example, what did you learn about yourself today? What felt challenging and what helped? What are you proud of in your effort? And just as importantly, we allow difference. Different speeds, different strengths, different paths. Because confidence grows when uniqueness is respected, not corrected. And let's be honest, we can't eliminate comparison completely. Not in school, not online, not in life. But we can change how young people relate to it. We can teach them comparison is information, not instruction. And you can notice it without following it. And it doesn't get to define you. And that's empowerment. Not shielding them from the world, but equipping them to stay connected to themselves within it. So as we close today's episode, I invite you to reflect on this. Where in your life does comparison pull you away from yourself? And where could you gently return to your own rhythm, your own values, your own way of growing? Because the greatest gift we can offer young people is not constant evaluation, but inner orientation. When children trust themselves, they don't need to compete to feel worthy. They learn to stand steady, even in a world that constantly compares. And if we want them to win in life, we must show them how. Not by punishing them to be more, but by helping them Stay connected to who they already are. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Soul Time. I'm very grateful because you have given me the greatest treasure of your life, your time. If you enjoyed this episode, click the subscribe button so that you get a notification every time a new episode is out.